Good morning, guys, and good morning once again from London. This is Naeem Aslam. I come with a wealth of 15 years of trading experience. During this time period, I have worked as a hedge fund trader for Bank of New York Mellon, as an equity trader with Bank of America, and currently providing services as a chief market analyst to EverTrade. Now, as always, bit of a housekeeping before we do anything else. Folks, anything which will be discussed in this video, as always, cannot be perceived as an advice. And of course, if you are seeking for one, it is much better you consult with your own financial advisors. Now, as always, what we will be discussing in today's segment we'll be discussing why the Dow Jones Industrial Moving Average is really moving higher, and more importantly, can it really continue its momentum to the upside? Secondly, we'll be looking at gold prices because obviously they have bounced quite a lot. Thirdly, we will also look at oil prices, why they are moving to the downside, what really can happen on that particular front. Number four, we'll be looking at economic calendar. What are the events for today that you really need to be focusing on? And fifth, you know it is crypto. And we will discuss all about that. So let's discuss about the European markets and, of course, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Well, the event which has really stimulated everything in relation to the stock market is the FOMC minutes. Because yesterday, the Federal Reserve, which is a central bank over in the United States, confirmed its stance, or let's just say its narrative, that they are not going to make any hasty decision with relation to its monetary policy. In simple words, they will be not increasing the interest rate or changing its loose monetary policy. And of course, markets wants to hear that sort of message. So that is like Christmas coming early, and that is the reason that we saw Dow Jones Industrial Average, we saw S&P 500 index, both moving and closing at new record highs yesterday. And today, over in Europe, the German DAX index is very much picking up the momentum from Wall Street and then moving to the upside. But as I've mentioned to you guys, one of the events which is likely to influence the European markets is going to be the FOMC, the ECB minutes today. So the European Central Bank will also announce what is its narrative on the monetary policy, how much of an asset purchase that we are going to see from that. So what instruments can you trade on back of that? Well, of course, you can look at stock 600, stock 50, DAX, CAC, or FTSE MIB. And on the currency side, you can certainly focus on the euro against the sterling. Why am I specifically looking at that particular currency pair? Because on Tuesday, the euro moved the most against the sterling this year. And yesterday, again, we saw the upward momentum continuing for the euro as well. So all of that is very much confirming that despite that investors or traders are not concerned about the current chaos that we have in Europe in relation to coronavirus vaccine. Because let's be real and let's be more factual, we haven't seen a joint front in relation to tackle the coronavirus vaccine crisis that we are seeing. Of course, in the United Kingdom, the UK has done a phenomenal job, even though it had a very poor start in order to tackle the pandemic. But now we are looking at a situation where Moderna vaccine is also going to be available 2 weeks ahead of the schedule. So that made many leverage traders to put more buy trades on sterling. So in a very simple meaning, they expect sterling to rise substantially against the euro. But what we are seeing in the market is completely opposite, because what we're seeing is a euro moving to the upside. So let's see if that squeeze really happens, and if it does, we can easily see euro sterling going above 0.90 or 0.92 or 93. But nonetheless, the factor which is going to be the most focus among traders is going to be the ECB's minute. But We also have another economic event which traders would be looking at, and that is the US initial jobless claims. They will be coming at 1:30 p.m. British Standard Time. Of course, we know that this number is known to be highly volatile in nature. Last week, we saw this number dropping massively to the downside. And if we see consistency of that message, that can further stem this bull rally, that can make that bull rally to go even further higher. So that is the narrative that we need to very much focus in relation to this particular data which will hit the market. And folks, if you like the content, if you like what you are listening here, please feel free to smash that like button, because it helps us on a daily basis to get into Google's algorithm. And if you have questions, feel free to comment here or leave a comment afterwards if you watch this one afterwards, and I'll be more than happy to come back and to answer your questions in relation to that. Now let's shift gears and move into gold. Now, when we look at gold prices, of course, we did a gold price analysis last week on the back of the US non-farm payroll. We talked about that level where the prices are likely to move to the upside, and they did. And now the price has formed a further bullish pattern because it has moved above three important moving averages, which are mentioned in today's analysis that I have done with respect to gold prices. So highly recommend you to go and have a look at that, and then let me know what your opinion is of that one, because I believe that the chances are that gold prices will move to the upside. However, there are certain factors which can push gold price to the downside, and that is very much we are at a junction that it can happen very, very soon. So it's very important for us to pay attention to those ones. Now, in the crypto market, in relation to Bitcoin, before I go into, why don't we discuss oil, and then let's just delay the crypto time a little bit. So in the oil market, we are still not seeing massive bids coming in. Price for crude and Brent is still trading below the 50-day simple moving average, and if we count on the daily time frame, and if we can't break above that, the chances of further upward moves are very limited. What do you think is the catalyst for oil prices to move to the upside? I mean, right now, there are so much conversation taking place about supply getting out of control, not enough demand coming through, and possibility of Iranian oil supply, because the conversations are taking place between the US and Iran. So if that happens, of course, that means more oil supply on the market. That may not be that great for oil prices in the short term, but perhaps the moment we will see more positive news, it will be reflected into the market. So overall, we may not see the full impact of that as it was, as what traders were expected, because it is going to be very much of the same episode that we've seen previously in relation to US and Iran when the deal was signed, and then how the market reacted. That is the situation we need to focus on, because that is where we will find our answers in relation to this particular puzzle. Now, crypto time. So once again, just going to remind you guys that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. So in the crypto time, I have done another analysis on Bitcoin today, because remember, we talked about that bearish pattern, the head and shoulder pattern, and we also talked about the bullish pattern, which is your symmetrical triangle. So, and in today's analysis, I've mentioned something else, which is how prices are finding support just above its upward trend line. That is very, very important, because that is where the 50-day simple moving average is happening, is also there as well. So once again, have a look at that video. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, if you have still questions in relation to that technical analysis video, and I'll be more than happy to answer them afterwards. That's all for now. Stay safe, and thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. That's all for now. See you guys next time.